was a live presentation on NCTV Channel 11.
Down to the river.
Hello and welcome to the award-winning Cafe Community. We're so glad you could join us tonight. I'm your host, Cheryl Noble, and tonight we're going to take a look at three very different resources that help to take care of, now this is not one of the resources on where I get my tie-dye socks, but back to the serious business now. Oh my gosh. The glories of being a producer, I guess. Okay. Now, where was I? See, look what happens. He ruined my introduction. Resources. We have three variety of resources on tonight's show that help take care of our community needs on a variety of levels. A bit later, we're going to learn about the San Juan Ridge Family Resource Center and how they take care of the Ridge residents. We'll also be hearing from our local chapter of the Red Cross and how they're collaborating with the Nevada County Emergency Services to help us take care of if we have any emergency problems here. And in just a moment, my first guest, the Penn Valley Rodeo, and they take care of our need for just basic good time and a wild ride. And so you're in for a wild ride tonight already with the wild socks. Off to a good start. We're so glad you could be with us, so let's get started. And as I mentioned, my first guest is the Penn Valley Rodeo. After 54 years, they're still here and riding strong, and they are so popular, and they're going to be here in a couple weeks. So I'd like to introduce, on my left is Patty Wilkins, and on her left is Doc Halstead, and on his left is the rodeo queen, Rachel Frantz. And they're going to tell us about this big event coming up. So, welcome to the program, you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks
Thank you. Can you top my socks, though? I mean,
if I would have known,
I have some pretty colorful ones.
Well, Rachel, I'll start with you. You're the rodeo queen, and this is a big, important component of the festivities of a rodeo queen. What are some of the duties that you have as a queen?
The rodeo queen's main duty is to go around to as many community events as possible just to get the community excited about the upcoming rodeo.
Okay, bit of a spokesperson.
That's pretty much the main duty. I mean, I go to a lot of different rodeos throughout the year, throughout, not even just in Nevada County, but I went to Truckee and Red Bluff and a bunch of different counties you just have to represent your hometown and bring people to come into our rodeos.
Great. Are you going to participate in the rodeo?
Yes. I will be doing a Queen's Run, which is where you go by and you wave in the grand entry, and I'll be handing down my crown this year to the next deserving girl. But
so your reign ends. It doesn't just start with this, I see.
Yeah.
There's a new queen that's going to be announced. Oh, okay. I just learned something.
Yeah.
So it's been, I'm sure, a very thrilling year for you.
Yes, yeah. I love it.
Good experience.
It is.
Doc, you're the president of the rodeo board. Lots of organization to do with this big event.
But we have done this now this is our 7th rodeo, and we've got it down pretty good. I mean, everybody knows their job. We've had the same board now for almost 7 years. So we kind of grew up with it.
Right, but the rodeo I saw 54th annual,
right.
So it's been around for a long time.
Right, it's one of the first rodeos I went to as a kid.
Oh, really?
And a few years back in 2004, we didn't have or 2003, we didn't have a rodeo. And we decided at that time that we needed to find out why and step up and continue the tradition.
Yeah, there's certainly, I would think, a desire and interest in our community with the horse environment and the love for horses here and the outdoors. So,
right, we're a lot more than just rodeo. We have barrel racing once a month. We get the top barrel racers from Northern California. And we just do other events.
Okay.
We're in our third year of doing a state championship barbecue cook-off.
Okay.
And Patty will tell you more about that. But
Right. Well, we've got some photos too, and I think one of them is of the barrel racing. And this is something I just learned: is that then you're active not just the weekend in May, which is coming up May 20th, that you have other events. Patty, is that part of the fundraising efforts that we were talking before the show, that you help local nonprofits and scholarships?
Absolutely. Several years ago, once we finally got a few years under our belt, we established a scholarship foundation or fund for graduating seniors from this area, not only within the school district, but those young people that do at home or charter schooling. Over and above that, and that's $2,000 a year that we award each June. So we just went through that process. We're not able to announce
the
winners until after their awards night.
Yeah.
And then the rodeo itself really tries to help all the nonprofits in our area, and we do that by them participating in many of the food booths that are available.
Oh, I see.
Care Crisis Nursery,
Sure.
the 4-H, the Ready Spring School, and there's a couple of others, and they're just now eluding me for some reason.
Little League.
Oh, Little League,
Oh, okay.
the Penn Valley Chamber of Commerce. These are all organizations that do quite well by participating in our rodeo weekend. And the other events that we try to hold are to keep our grounds open for folks for a nominal fee so that they become members and they have a safe environment to come and ride. I mean, our arena is very good.
And the campgrounds too, is that part of
It's
the
really not a
setup there?
campgrounds out
No?
in that area.
Okay.
No, there is a very large parking area, but we don't.
Don't encourage that? I guess I thought that there was for out-of-towners, but it doesn't matter. Move on. Speaking of out-of-towners, though, does this draw competitors from out of town, or is it pretty much localized?
No, we're sponsored by the CCPRA. That's the group that's the California Cowboys Rodeo Association, and their membership involves people from the whole northern half of the state of California and even down further, all the way out to the coast and some northern Nevada. So we get participants and their family members from all over.
Wow.
And those that come to visit and pay to come also come from a lot of out of town.
And this is good family fun. We should give out all the info. It's May 20th to the 22nd, right?
Correct.
And more information, PennValleyRodeo.com. I'm getting the wrap-up. I'm sure they want to see my socks again. And, or call 432-1802 for more information. And, yeah, this is full activities, a variety. We saw the dangerous-looking events. A thrill. Rachel, who's the queen? Do you know yet? Are you passing on?
The girls are competing actually next weekend.
Okay.
Because it's almost like a pageant. They used to have to model and give a speech, and you have your horsemanship and interviews and all that.
Tough competition.
Yes.
All right. Well, good for you. Congratulations. Thank you for being our queen for the year. And Doc, thank you for being on. Good luck. And Patty.
Thank you.
Good work and
Thank you
have
for having
fun.
us.
Everybody go out.
Can we mention the barbecue cook-off?
They're coming on the show.
Are they? Okay.
But that's
wonderful.
They're coming on next week, I think, Marilyn.
Okay.
So, all right, we got to wrap this up. So stick around. We are going to bring up our next guest. Thank you guys for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Hi, I'm here today with Andy Moore, who is a local business attorney, and he's here at the Sierra Commons Small Business Fair, and he stopped by Cafe Community to tell us about the services he offers.
I'm a business transaction attorney who represents startups,
Oh, okay.
and I also do estate planning as well. and I am sort of changing my practice a little bit to be a little bit more virtual, which is more internet friendly and user friendly, which I have found to be very useful for people in the estate planning.
And convenient, I'm sure.
Yes, yes. A lot of people are intimidated about going into a law office, so the virtual estate planning that I'm doing is at virtualestateplanning.com. The name of the company is vPlanEasy, and basically it allows people to access estate planning software that attorneys use, do so for free in the comfort of their home, go through a very simple and user-friendly online interview, and watch their estate plan be automatically put together for them and be able to see that estate plan in its complete form.
And it gets them to think about maybe what a direction they want to go in, or some of their answers, and help prepare eventually when they do come in to see you.
That's right. And essentially what they end up seeing is everything that they would get from an attorney. They can purchase that, and then an attorney will come in on the back end and finalize the plan with
Right, and button it up and make it legal.
Right.
Well, we're running out of time here, but tell us real quickly, you attended the fair today. What's been an aha moment for you?
You know, networking has been great, and seeing Brian Gillings, who is a entrepreneur in the area, who represents business advisor, or he's a business advisor to the local startup companies here. Networking with him has been great for me, and seeing him and meeting him has been a good moment for me.
Good. Great. Thank you so much for stopping by today, and good luck with your virtual business.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And welcome back. My second guest offer a vital service in the event of local emergencies. On my left is Steve Baker, who is a volunteer with our chapter of the American Red Cross. And on his left is Vic Ferrara. He is with the Nevada County Office of Emergency Services. So thank you so much for being on the program. And this is a very vital service. I mean, there are emergencies. We know we've had a horrible winter, but you're also planning ahead a little bit too. So Vic, tell us a little bit about the Office of Emergency Services in our county.
Sure. As the Nevada County Office of Emergency Services, we work with all of the local cities, local jurisdictions, anything from NID to nonprofits, volunteer organizations, to basically mitigate, prepare, respond, and recover from disasters. And as a part of that, there's an exercise that's coming up May 18th. And this exercise is called Golden Guardian 2011.
Right, and that's where you have pulled in the resource of the Red Cross then.
That is correct. And this exercise is an annual exercise, and this year it is sponsored by the California Emergency Management Agency, which is part of the governor's office, and involves all 31 inland region counties, and it's for a mass flood, basically a flood event, and how each county responds to that.
Okay, and getting a little research about this, Steve, you were telling me that you determine what the disaster is going to be that the exercise is for.
Right. The exercise has three pieces to it. The first part is if we repeat what happened, the worst historical flood that occurred in California was in 1861 to 62. And it took out a major part of California's economy, cattle at that time, meat. And about 300 miles of our Central Valley was filled with water. So it was a very significant event.
So the flood is what's being looked at as needing to be coordinated.
That's correct. Of course, these days we have more dams, we have more people, we have more activities going on at the ground surface, so there are many more people that would be impacted by this. So that is the second part that's being looked at, exactly who and to what degree are they being impacted. Then the next part is the social ramifications, the level of response, the type of response that is needed to really deal with the extraction of so many people and sheltering of so many people. And so the Golden Guardian was created. Every year it's a different thing. This year it's this flood.
It's you were saying the arc The
arc storm.
The arc storm, like it happens every 200 to 300 years or something, and that's what you're preparing for.
Well, actually, this particular exercise is one that happens every 200 or 300 years. However, we had an arc storm. It's called an arc river, actually, or atmospheric river situation. But it happened in 1997. That's when we had a tremendous amount of problems here in the Grass Valley, Nevada City area. We had flooding down in the flatlands, and Marysville and Yuba City residents were coming up here. We had another one in 1986. And then in Southern California, we had one in 1969. So this is something that does happen somewhat frequently in our state.
Wow, it's hard to think of. Vic, tell us, that's a big job. I mean, you've got to coordinate several resources, services, as you say, nonprofits.
Right.
And this, are we looking at our county then being a shelter type for a higher level? Is that?
For this type of exercise, we're exercising our Emergency Operations Center, and it would be a request from the state that we open additional shelters for the lower-lying counties that have residents that have been displaced. So,
how do we, where are our local shelters or do they change depending on what the, if there's a fire or in this case the flood?
The shelters would change based on location and the event. There are well over 20 shelters that the Red Cross is certified in western Nevada County. And,
really?
And depending on when the disaster happens and what it is, we determine with the Red Cross what shelter or shelters to open.
That's new information.
It's an ongoing effort. The Red Cross is always looking for good relationships to establish and to maintain. And you know, we could have fires literally anywhere. Think about just a few years ago with over, I don't know how many thousands of strikes in just a very brief period of time.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we need to have the ability to mobilize and move the sheltering capacity that we have to wherever location is needed. And that's where we dovetail very tightly with OES, our county's OES.
Vic, tell us, the exercise is coming up on the 18th, and I know you need volunteers, so give us just a quick, how people can, what you envision for that day, or is that Steve?
Why don't I do that?
Okay, sure.
Red Cross, if we had a situation that was moderately nasty, we really need more volunteers. We really, truly do. And so we are using this exercise as a way of testing and training to actually run a shelter in the way that would satisfy our county people. And we want to have the capacity to open up more than one. We may be, in fact, be asked to open up several, or 5 or 6 in different locales, and so we have to have that capacity. Red Cross is here because people out there are willing to become volunteers, just as I am a volunteer. And we really do need you to come down when this happens. We are treating this as a real situation. We will have a...
That's the exercise. Come down to the exercise.
Come down to the exercise on May 18th. Our shelter will be set up at the 210 Broad Street. It's the Alpha Building.
Okay, right on the corner of Union and Broad. All right.
And we can show you what goes on. Hopefully you'll be enthusiastic and ready to get yourself trained up, which requires really a minimal level of effort, but there are things along the way that can make it interesting for you if you choose to do that. So we're looking for volunteers.
Volunteers, a few good, very dedicated volunteers for a very good cause. So for more information, the website which we had on the screen when we were talking is ARCNEC, that's American Red Cross, northeastcalifornia.org. There it is again. The 800 number is there, and the exercise is on the 18th. Well, this was very informative and enlightening and comforting that this effort is underway, the coordination, the collaboration, the communication, all very good to know, and that we're looking ahead.
You know, the most interesting part is, and people don't usually see it, the logistics, the movement of equipment and people and so forth happens when you don't even know it. I mean, this guy over here, Vic, he's very busy doing those things. Even though we may not end up requiring that level of need, it is made available if that is to happen.
Wow. New admiration for our local emergency services. So we're out of time, gentlemen. Thank you so much, Vic and Steve. And please come back at some point and give us an update and maybe talk about the next exercise.
Thank you for having us.
All right, we're going to take our next break so I can bring up my next guest. So stick around. We'll be right back. Okay, well, we are back, and as I promised, this was an action-packed wild ride show. Good information, and for the first time on the program is from the San Juan Ridge Family Resource Center, Diana Pasquini. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Well, this was a great new thing that I discovered, yet another resource, and the Family Resource Center on the Ridge takes care of Ridge residents. Nice little neighborhood.
And they take care of us, I might say.
The residents?
They do.
Okay, that's nice. And, you know, a couple of our crew, the Ridge is in the house tonight. Yes. San Juan Ridge. Tell us, you've got a variety of services for the residents to come in and take advantage of. Tell us some of the things that you offer.
Okay. Well, we are one of 3 family resource centers in Nevada County. There's one in Grass Valley, there's one out at Ready Springs, and then there's ours on the San Juan Ridge.
Oh, okay.
And so that's a partners network. And so there are certain core services that each of the resource centers offer. Those are things like referring people to other agencies.
Okay.
Giving parenting classes.
So where information is if they need it on what they need.
Also, providing, in town they call them family fun nights. We have more like, ours are in the daytime, but people still have fun. But then we have certain things that are expressly there to satisfy the needs of people on the Ridge, and we know they need these things because they've told us about them.
Okay.
So we have a washer and a dryer. There is no laundromat there.
Oh, interesting.
We started a food pantry.
And that is your newest service, and we've got a photo of that was in the paper recently. But the food drive, the kids that did the food drive, I thought was so sweet. Tell us a bit about that.
All right. There is a group of kids at Grizzly Hill School, which is the kindergarten through 8th grade public school on the Ridge. These kids are 5th through 8th grade. They're called the Youth Corps. They were founded several years ago to do community service. And they were out at the resource center one day. They were doing service for us. They were shelving books and inventorying athletic equipment. And I mentioned to them that a man had come in and asked us for a can of soup, and we didn't have it.
Oh, gosh.
And they went back to their teachers, and the school, unbeknownst to us, had a food drive.
So the kids took the initiative.
The kids took the initiative.
Oh, very sweet.
They are the founders of the pantry.
Of the pantry.
And so their teacher, the 6th grade teacher, gave me a call the last day before their winter vacation and said he had something for us. He brought 360 food items.
Oh, my gosh.
And that is... They are the founders of the pantry, and that's why I think that in the newspaper article, we are presenting them with humanitarian awards.
Yes, we saw the photo, you giving the award. Yes, they won. You handed them a humanitarian award.
Humanitarian awards,
I think that's
because
great.
you know because they are looking after their fellow man.
Sure.
People will receive that food that they don't know.
Right.
But, and that's what a humanitarian is. They were not just practicing to be leaders in the future, but practicing to be leaders today.
Right. And there's no age on that.
That's right.
To take care of one another. How long has the Resource Center been open on the Ridge?
We've been there about 5 years.
Okay. Have you been there since the beginning? Did you
No.
open?
Well, in a way I have, but not as an employee. So yes, I was there as someone who gave input, at public meetings and helped to found it. And then I was on a board, an advisory council, and now I am your tax dollars at work.
Right. Well, how is it funded in addition to our tax dollars?
It's funded through the Nevada County Superintendent of Schools through a variety of grants. I'm hired from a federal grant. It's a Safe Schools, Healthy Students grant. And there are other ones, First Five Nevada County.
Right, okay.
And also CAPIT, Child Abuse Prevention. And we're also always looking for additional funding. If there are any philanthropists out there that are listening today, I want you to note, feel free to donate.
Absolutely. Well, there are good services, as you say, the washer dryer, which is needed, and you hit a point that touches me too. Which, even though this is part of a network, each one speaks specifically to the neighborhood and what the needs are. And for you, like the washer and dryer.
Yeah, and we had we put together a community task force that started meeting last fall, and initially it was just to look at things that we needed to put into grant funding, requests. But what we realized after having a series of meetings and surveying many people on the Ridge was we needed to build community.
Yes.
That there are so many people are isolated in our society, not just on the Ridge.
Right. And this provides
anywhere.
a bit of a heartbeat,
we want to
central.
Right. We want to help reduce isolation by building community.
Yeah. And being there, a place for people to go. Tell us where you're located. We've got just a couple
We
seconds
are
left.
located on the old Oak Tree School campus in a lovely little white building that's a replica of the North Columbia Schoolhouse.
Oh, very sweet.
We're there 10 to 4 Monday through Fridays.
Okay.
If you're coming any distance, you should probably call first, and I think our number was on the screen.
Yes. Yep. I'll give it again, 292-3174. Well,
And we also have a newsletter that we can send out. We can email it to anyone. So you can also call and ask for the newsletter.
Yeah. Okay. Very good stuff. Another resource I discovered. I just love all this. We just have so many great things here.
Nevada County is really a generous county.
Very compassionate.
Yeah.
I agree. But except for my crew. And did you see the socks that they...
Yes, I'm very taken with them. I'm very taken with them.
We got to end
They have
on
star quality.
They star quality,
Yes.
like your flashy toenails.
Absolutely. From LA. I went to, yes.
We got to leave on the
toenails.
funny note. That's how we started. So, okay. Well, thank you so much for being with us, Diana. Please come back and give us an update. And we'll see you all next week. Take care.
Wash me down, okay, and I'm gone.